Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today is exam prep study tips for medical coders. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. All right, so you are going to take your certification exam, whether you are going for the CCS or the CCA or the CPC. These exam prep tips are for you. Or even if you're taking the degree designations, right? These are for you. So here's the thing. I am certified with the American Health Information Management Association, but I do talk about AAPC, the American Academy of Professional Coders. The information that I'm going to talk about today comes directly from the website. So a lot of people will write in and they'll ask me, Blue, I'm going to take my certification exam. What should I study? If you've gone through a whole program, they should be preparing you along the way for your certification exam. The main thing that you should know is that both associations, their websites offer a list of what is covered on those certification exams. For example, the AAPC, they have a list of all of the number of questions they have for each section, okay? And they have the sections listed out. And then with AHIMA, they have the percentage of the domains. How much of this domain, what is the percentage that they're going to be testing you on? So it's just different for both associations. The thing that happens when you are preparing for your exam is this. They are testing your knowledge to see that you're competent enough to hold this credential. Now, there's different things for different credentials, right? Obviously, some are for inpatient, some are for outpatient, and some are for both. So it really does depend on which certification you're going to be sitting for. But going directly to the association websites first to find out what the breakdown of the test is a good first step, because that's going to give you a good direction. Now, the other thing I will tell you is this. There are exam prep study guides or exam prep workbooks out there. And some are directly from the associations themselves, and some are from private publishers, authors, or whatever. And so it just depends on where you're getting your exam prep guide from. Not everybody uses an exam prep guide. And I will also say this, the exam prep guides are meant as a guide. They are not meant to be like, this is what is on the exam. So many people have that misconception that they get so upset, well, I paid all this money for this exam prep guide and none of those questions were on the exam. Well, naturally, because of the simple fact that if they did that, then these tests would be easy to pass. They're difficult, and they're made difficult on purpose, because what we do is so important, and the knowledge base that you have to have is really big as well. So that is something that you have to think about and know when you're getting these exam prep study guides. These exam prep books are meant to prepare you and to kind of get you in that mode and that mindset, because they're broken down like the exam, right? And so that's why they have those. They will also have some guides that have like the answers with the rationale. Now, I recommend those, and I do list the one for AAPC that I recommend. Again, I have never taken a certification exam with AAPC. I'm not even a member of AAPC. I get a lot of questions about AAPC. I'm willing to answer because this is the information that I have from the website. But more detailed stuff, you have to contact the association themselves, because they are going to know. And they're going to be able to tell you a lot better than I will. I'm just telling you guys what I see on the website itself. And the thing about the AAPC website is it's very straightforward. You get on there, how can we help you? How can we help you? That's their big thing. So that's really good about AAPC, I will say that. But if you get the exam prep study guide from them, I have seen it. I've known quite a few people who have taken that certification exam. They've shown me their prep book, and I mean, I like it. It is very thorough. It gives you a very good, it'll give you like the questions, and then it will give you like the answer key in the back and will also give you the rationale as to why. There are some study prep guides out there that's just questions and they don't give you the answers. You got to find out the answers on your own. So the fact that this book breaks down and gives you the rationale, I think is really great. So if you're interested in that, it's a good way to start preparing yourself because it'll be broken down by questions. You can time yourself. You can go through those motions so that you can be prepared when you do go sit for your certification exam. The thing is, you can't try to run around asking like, well, what's on this and what's on this and what's on this. It's going to be a broad range and no one knows except for the test creators themselves what is on the test. So that's why it's very important, instead of expending energy trying to find, oh, well, test more on this and test more on this and learn more on this and learn more on that. You got to learn everything. And you have to go back over the notes that you've taken if you've been in a program. You have to read everything that is recommended as well. I do leave a lot of recommended links all the time for things for you guys to read. Now, I may not break it down always on my channel because you guys know that I am not technologically advanced when it comes to putting things up on the screen. I will get there. Just, you just gotta bear with me, folks. But when it comes to those types of things, when I'm telling you guys, hey guys, check out CMS or check out, all these other websites, EM University, check out all these other things. These are free resources that you guys can use to be able to study. And working on workbooks that will give you like case scenarios or just different questions that you can work out in the book is going to get you practice to looking up codes faster in the book. The main thing that I see that people kind of flub up on is they slow down with their reading because they say, well, I'm trying to like figure out everything and I'm trying to read everything. The more practice you get with like the workbooks and like doing case scenarios and looking up codes individually, the more comfortable you're going to get with your book. The people who panic and the people who end up not doing so well the first time are the ones that don't do the practice. They're the ones that's not really concentrating on that because they want to know like what specifically. There's not going to be anything ever that's going to be labeled, this is specifically what you need. It's going to be the broad range. When you learn anatomy, medical terminology, you're going to be learning all of the basics. You just need the broad strokes just to start because the exams are meant to get a gauge of where you are in your knowledge base. So that is the importance of understanding why those exam prep guides are the way that they are. A lot of people become too dependent on them, I think, because they think that this is exactly the way that this exam is going to go. And that's just simply not true. It's just meant as a guide to help you to get more comfortable and to sort of put you in that mindset. And I know I just repeated myself, but it's important because I've said this many times and it's still like when people start to take their exam, they just kind of panic. The main thing is not to panic. When you are taking your certification exam, yes, this is a big deal and it's very expensive. And a lot of people complain that it's so expensive and I don't have time to mess up. You're going to do your best, obviously, right? You're going to do your best and you're going to do things in a way that you know is going to be efficient and productive for you. So having had all this practice of looking up codes in the book and getting more familiar and taking some of the tips that I've given, which is look in the appendixes of the book. I say this a lot and people still, they say, well, I heard you say it, but I just haven't done it. Well, why not? There's so much information there. Well, I just don't know where like all the body parts and the breakdowns, there's anatomy plates in the book. Well, I didn't know that. Guys, come on. That's why I'm telling you, look in the book. Get familiar with the sections of the book, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get through that book very quickly when you are taking your test. And I will say this also, answer as many questions as you can. Do not stop the entire time that you're in that exam room. You got to make sure that you answer everything that you can before your time runs out. Don't leave any questions. If you're just like not sure, just don't skip it. Put something, because believe it or not, your first instinct is usually the right answer, right? It's when we start second guessing ourselves that, we start to mess up. So you want to make sure that you are giving yourself the best chance possible by answering all of the questions during your allotted time for your exam, right? And, just do the best that you can. Use the process of elimination if you have to, but make sure that when you're preparing yourself, that you're working on your speed. And by working on your speed, that means reading. And reading is a skill. It is a muscle that you have to work in order to get faster at it. Because when you are in that exam room, oh yeah, that time is going to go really quick. So just make sure that you are answering all the questions that you can before your time runs out. Make sure that you have been studying and reading like you're supposed to, because I've been there, done that, and got a t-shirt. Okay. And I say these things to you guys because I want you guys to be set up for success. I have heard from viewers who had said, well, I wasn't sure about certain questions on my test, so I just skipped them and I didn't complete the test. And then they didn't pass. So that's the thing that happens. You want to give yourself the best chance possible. Even if you don't feel sure of yourself, you still have to do your best and get through the question and use context clues and do whatever you have to get through those questions, because you get a shot to pass that exam, right? And the more you study and the more you know, and the quicker you get with the book, the easier it will be for you. And the more you'll be able to get through in a timely way, okay? Because these certification exams, yes, they do get nerve-wracking. I will say that. I mean, I would be lying if I said, oh no, it's no big deal. It is a big deal, especially when this is going to change your life once you get your certification, and then you get out into the real world and you start applying for jobs. That's another door that you got to get through. But getting through that certification exam is what stops a lot of people, because sometimes when they don't do so well the first time, they just sort of give up. Or they think that they're ready for the second time, and they do a lot of the same habits that they did before, and the result is the same. So that's why you have to make sure that if something happens on the first exam, right, you don't do so well, and then you go to take it again, that you have taken the time to prepare yourself, that you know where your weaknesses are. That's the great thing about being able to sit again for these exams, is that you know what you did wrong the first time, whether it was that you didn't answer all your questions, or that you know that you need to study more on anatomy, or you need to study more on medical terminology, or just looking up codes in the book, like the combination codes or a certain specialty of codes. That's what you really need to focus on. So if something happens on the first exam, take it as a lesson learned, and you got to keep getting up and moving, because the more that you sit and stew that, oh, this was a waste of time, and I never should have done this or whatever, kicking yourself while you're already down is no good. Okay? It's the best time to learn from what happened. You're still around to take the exam again. So that's the thing that you have to focus on. I can take this exam again if something happens. It's okay. There are plenty of people who have to take the exam a few times before they pass it, but they pass it. And having that kind of desire and that determination And that strength is really amazing. And that says a lot about the individual, about not giving up. And that's the best kind of way to be, is not giving up. And that's very important because this field is so challenging in the beginning. And even when you're in it and you're a veteran, there's still going to be challenges later on, but they're going to be a different kind of challenge. It's going to be like the longer that you're in it, the more people are going to expect from you. The bar is going to be raised higher. And for people who are not raising the bar by themselves, it's going to be raised for you. And for me, I like to be in control of how fast this bar is being raised. I raise the bar for myself every single time. I raise the bar for my providers every single time. Okay, you did this, I want this more from you. Okay, you did that, I want this more from you. Until we are in this higher level of more specificity, of better documentation. That's what I want. And if I want that from them, then I need to prepare myself to be the best medical coder that I can be, right? And so for them, and that's what you have to think about. And it starts right when you are doing your certification exam. So getting prepared and having a broad knowledge base of everything is what is going to be key to helping you. So that is my advice there on that. But yes, use the study prep exam guides, but don't become dependent on them, and don't think that that is what is exactly on the exam. Okay. Take the time to give yourself drills. Do those drills and do the heavy lifting, which is the reading. That's what I always call the heavy lifting, is the reading. Go to the CMS website. Look on the CMS website. They have lots of FAQs, of frequently asked questions, and you can take the time to look at those things. I always list different references, especially in the community tab. If you've had time to look through the community tab, I have plenty in there. Just different articles that I have posted before in the past. So take the time to read those, guys, because the more you invest in reading other things, the faster you're going to get with that reading. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. That is one of the key things that you have to do. It's our behaviors that is going to set us up for success, right? It is having that determination and that discipline of sitting there, getting through, reading, knowing, and spotting what we need to look for in a note, what we need to focus on when we are flipping in the book, and those kinds of things. And a lot of people will ask me too, well, what about writing notes in the book? I recommend keeping the books as clean as possible, okay? Because when I came up, I did not write anything in my book when I went to go sit for my certification exam. I write now in my book very little, very here and there, maybe 1 or 2 words, and that's it. But there's people who are highlighting and coloring and writing a bunch of notes. To me, when you do that and you are sitting there in that exam room, that's going to be even more nerves that you have to deal with. So keep your book as clean as possible, because those notes are only good for what you're working on in your scenario or whatever, things like that. You know, you can write that down like separately in a separate notebook if you have to absolutely write stuff down. Just don't put it in your book, because it's not going to help you on when you sit for your exam. Okay. So that is just something that I would recommend. There's different policies about the tabbing. With AHIMA, I know that if the tabs came actually with the book, that you can use it. But if they are like other tabs that are just from like Post-it or whatever, and little post-it things, no, you can't use those. It has to have come with the book. So the AMA Professional Edition CPT manual does come with tabs. So from what I've understood from the website, yes, you can use those. So that is just something I wanted to pass along. I know AAPC has their big thing about tabbing, and that is something that they are rather famous for. But to me, it's too much kerfuffle. That's what I think. But if it helps you, then by all means. But, you know, because you have to be comfortable enough to take that exam as well. But the more that you practice with the book, the less you'll notice that you'll be dependent on those tabs or your notes or your highlights, because you will have gotten more familiar in looking through the book. So that is something that you guys should know, because like I said, my books were clean when I went to go take my certification exam. And I didn't have any notes, no highlights, no nothing, okay? Because I respect books. I love books, and I like to keep them as clean as possible, okay? Because I'm already using them, right? But that is something that I just wanted to pass along. So that's my tips. But yes, that's what I would recommend. And if you found yourself struggling when you're in school or where you're going through your program, that you don't understand something, then you need to get help to understand it and get clear about it. I do offer tutoring. If you guys need tutoring, my rates are in the description box below. It's $25 for the first hour, $15 for the second, in the same session. So if you need somebody to sit there and explain to you, that's where, you know, it might be helpful for you to do something like that. Okay, so that's just something that's out there for you guys. So again, I will leave all my contact information in the description box below. The books that I recommend are going to be in the description box as well. When it comes to these books, you do not have to click on the link. These are Amazon affiliate links, so you do not have to click on them. The titles are there, so you can look them up on eBay or other places where you can buy books. But I get like a commission for every click, so that way you guys don't have to click on it, just so you know. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Don't be nervous on your test. You're gonna do great. Trust your teaching, trust yourself, trust your first instinct, and get through that exam, okay? And it's all gonna be about learning, okay? So, you know, for better or for worse, you're gonna learn something, right? But it's what you do with that knowledge that makes the whole difference. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. If you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.